welcome again. It's your host Theptilla here, and thanks everyone for joining us and being part of our community. We're all very excited about to have you here, and our co-founder George Harrap is here with us. Welcome, George, once again.
Good to be here, as always.
So, as you might all know, that we just released our Q3 roadmap this month. And very excited to have questions about the roadmap and many other topics answered today. So I guess let's dive in.
Yeah, so the backstory on this as well is the last few discussions that we've had on AMAs, we haven't really been focusing on what Step's doing. So I think we're getting back to our roots now to some of our earlier AMAs when we were talking about some of our roadmap stuff. So that's why I think today we're just going to sort of focus on what we're doing. We do have a couple of other AMAs lined up in future with potentially other people. So yeah, any good projects out there that are listening, we'd be happy to have you on. But for today, we're going to talk about the roadmap. So where are we getting started first, Step? Maybe I can just sort of give an overview about everything that's happening, and we can start from there.
Yeah, it's it's mentioned that we're in a bear market in the Q3 roadmap. Maybe we can talk about how Step is approaching the current market conditions and maybe how we're continuing to build.
Of course. Yeah, so look, in a bear market, you see sort of projects come and go. Certainly something that we've noticed since we started. So we started last year in, what was it, like February or something, out of the hackathon last year when Solana was really just getting started. And really for all of 2021, we had projects launching like every 5 minutes. There was always some new thing on the radar. We had to drop everything. We had a new integration. There's a new yield farm, a new pool, a new thing happening, which we have to go and integrate. So the pace of development of things was really rapid. There was a lot of new things starting, and a lot of teams just sort of materializing out of nowhere and coming into existence. So that was sort of the peak of things, right? And now we're in the middle of 2022, and we're certainly not seeing that. And that's across the entire industry. And the pace of new things launching has reduced as well. So I think we can certainly conclude that A, we're in a bear market, but also B, that given that the pace of new things sort of popping up is something that is giving us a little bit of breathing space. The next question is, okay, if we're not focused on all of these different integrations that are happening, so what's the big plan? What is sort of our focus for the next 6 months to this year? And by the way, we sort of keep it to about 6 months because, like, who even knows what will happen in crypto 12 months from now? I mean, we could all be flying spaceships for all I know. But so yeah, look, for us, the focus is, as we say, continuing to build. A lot of people use those words, but what does build actually mean? Look, it follows what we've been talking about for the last couple of months in our blog posts, which has been cementing Step as a go-to data destination. So what that means is we want to have more on-chain analytics products on Step, and we certainly will soon. We're rolling out a few new products on that front, but look, our focus for the next 6 months is to just keep rolling out these products at perhaps the same pace as we were for the integrations. The integrations were a key focus for us for so long, and there was always something new popping up, but we see the same kind of opportunity happening now with all of the different types of products that we can launch with on-chain data. And the cool thing that's different now to what was happening last year is there's a lot more happening on-chain. There's a lot more protocols that are already there. There's a lot more things to look at. When we first started, there was only really like 1 or 2 projects. And now there's however many there is, hundreds, like depends how you want to measure it. But yeah, look, our focus is focusing on building out the data side of things and rolling out some really cool products.
That's awesome. So I actually saw your earlier tweet about the top wallets and how they're focused on NFT trading and Step wanting to reach those crowds. we all noticed also that Step's NFT pricing is now running great, thanks to the integrations with Solana Floor and Magic Eden. So, what are your thoughts on the further expanding NFT data insights within Step?
Yeah, so this was something that we mentioned on our blog post, was that one of our goals for Q2 was to increase the coverage of NFT data in general. Now, the thing with NFT data is it's a little bit strange to deal with, right? Because there is no thing called the price. Because if you go and look at a token, you can generally say that the price is going to be wherever it's trading at. And it's probably going to be trading at the same price everywhere, because if it's not, then there's an arbitrage opportunity and you can
Yeah,
make money, right? But with NFTs, A, there's multiple marketplaces. B, not every NFT is the same. So you can't really say that, like, my NFT is worth X when it's like it could be one NFT as part of 1,000, and you could have a massive range within that 1,000. So then people look at floor price, but again, floor price could vary across different marketplaces. And then there's like, well, maybe my NFT, the price of it is what someone is bidding on it, or maybe the price of it is what the last price of it was, the last time that it was bought or sold. So there's lots of ways that you can think about what, quote, the price is. And what we had to do on Step was essentially we integrated with some great partners along the lines with Solana Floor and Magic Eden. And look, those guys have already been tracking and categorizing
yeah,
a lot of this data. And for us, it was super important to connect to their APIs, put all of that info in Step, and increase the coverage. There's still gaps here and there, and that's just by the nature that not everyone is using the Metaplex protocol correctly, and there's like a ton of gaps, and there's a ton of like inconsistencies. So there is like some manual work required to chase up some of that. But I think NFTs will be it's a going thing going forward. Like, they're not going anywhere. It's the largest marketplace in the world now, with Magic Eden is on Solana. So look, they're not going anywhere. It needs to be a core part of someone's portfolio, and that's what we do at Step. So for us, having proper data coverage of that is super important. So look, getting accurate pricing across all of the different marketplaces is important now, but there's a ton of other stuff which we should be doing for NFTs. So more collection specific data and more things not related to your wallet. So I might talk about that later. But I think there's a big distinction coming up soon within our product between things which are related to your wallet and things which are not related to your wallet. So if you want to find out like what are the top 10 collections in NFT land right now, well, that's not something related to your wallet, and that's a different type of product. So for us, we need to be providing not just what we've been doing for the last year, like
yeah,
what's relevant to your wallet, but also what's not relevant to your wallet, or what's not related to that. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of really cool developments over the coming months on that front as well.
that's great. So while we're on that topic, let's talk about the Data Insights newsletter. Who is Step trying to attract with the new publication, and what types of insights are you focused on?
Yes, so this is another cool announcement which we've started up over the last couple of weeks. Was this essential? It's sort of like a parallel brand to Step. We call it Step Data Insights, but the idea is that it's a neutral look of the entire Solana ecosystem. So we're going to be looking at data provided from all sorts of different platforms all over the ecosystem, and being able to try and tease out some of the interesting things from that, and be able to talk intelligently about what it all might mean. But I think for us, this is important because it's also a new, I would say, step along our path of being that one sort of data aggregator and platform for the Solana ecosystem. So we need to establish ourselves with a presence there. And one way to do that is through the newsletter. And the newsletter, I think, right now, I think we're on newsletter number 3. Number 4 is, we're currently by the way, we're also open to any suggestions if anyone wants to see any particular posts on news on chain data. But yeah, newsletter number 4 will be coming out in 2 weeks, pretty much. And yeah, look, for us, it's a way to expand the brand, expand the audience, and perhaps introduce the concept of looking at on-chain data to more people. So right now, there's a lot of people that just consume information via newsletters or via reports. They're not on crypto Twitter every single day. They're not degen shit posting in Discords. So, these kind of people, I think, is what we want to reach with these kind of newsletters. So, yeah, look, that's what we're doing. That's why we're doing it. And it's trying to sort of move the Step brand away from, let me just tell you about your wallet, to let's actually look at the bigger picture here, and let's look at some of the on-chain data across all of the Solana ecosystem. So yeah, look, there's going to be lots of new cool stuff there, and we've got a great person on board with the page analysis. You can see him on Twitter there, but yeah, he's great. So everyone go check him out.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Um, Also, Step cares about the expanding of the product accessibility to through translations, right? Could you talk to us about the timeline and how the community can help if they speak multiple languages?
Yeah, so this is something that I think I've mentioned in the past, but we're sort of almost good to go on this front now. So one of the things is that, look, the number of English-speaking users on Step, it's probably in the range of maybe 30%. 30% of our daily active users and audience are people from traditionally English-speaking countries. The rest is from everywhere else, right? So for us, when we look at this, we're like, well, wow, okay, how many people are writing guides and interactive or documentation of various like technical things in, I don't know, Thai, or in our case, Turkish is our number two sort of country and language coming to Step. So look, there's a lot of places out there where perhaps the depth of discussion on the internet is not as deep as the English language speaking community. So we need to offer translations on Step, aka you need to be able to see the dashboard and your portfolio and everything in your native language, and we think that this is a really good thing to open us up to a whole new audience, number one. Number two, it's to be number one in some of these markets as well, because I dare say there's not really that much Solana documentation or really just any discussion really in a lot of these languages around the world, because a lot of it is unfortunately English language focused.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, we need to make a change there, right? So very soon we will have translates going live on Step, and we'll also be inviting the community, probably like this week even, to come join us and translate that. So we have a product set up. We're using Crowdin. I don't know if anyone else. There's a couple of other project peeps in here, but Crowdin's pretty good. Essentially, it's like crowdfunding translates. So we'll be maybe offering some sort of incentives or things to do for that. But yeah, look, if you have the capability to speak more than one language, and you're willing to give up some of your time to do that, like please do get in touch with us,
Yeah.
and we'll see what we can do there. But yeah, look, Translate's going live soon. It's going to help on the SEO. It's going to help on a lot of different things. It's also I can imagine it's a nightmare using Google Translate for all of these DeFi apps. Like, imagine using that. That'd just be horrible. / Google Translate doesn't even work most of the time. So I don't know how many people are doing it, but it must be painful. That's my conclusion. So yeah, we want to ease some of that pain.
Yeah, and I would like to echo that sentiment. If there's anyone out there that speak multiple languages, please do reach out to us through our Discord. We have channels for every language that we found useful. But if you are interested, reach out to us. We would like to chat. Okay, so my next question to you is there was an announcement earlier this year that you established a $5 million fund for data focused project acquisition. Has there been any movement on that? And if you guys are still searching, what types of projects are you guys looking for?
Yeah, so look, we made this announcement a while back where we put aside some money to do essentially grants or investments or acquisitions in the space for interesting projects that are aligned with our core value prop. and the core value prop being essentially on-chain data. Look, we've spoken to a lot of cool teams. There's a few discussions ongoing. And yeah, look, I can't say anything right now about what's happening on that pipeline, but hopefully we'll have some more cool information there soon. But if anyone is keen, we've approached some of the hackathon participants as well, and some people that like just go and build cool stuff. Some are easier to get in contact with than others, let's say. And look, there's a lot of cool stuff being built, right? So we want to support people on that front, and that's why we have this fund. So yeah, look, let's discuss. Let's see what we can do. And we've also done a few sponsorships as well. I don't know if people have seen that, but for the last 6 months, we've sponsored like four different sort of locations within the Solana ecosystem and sort of broader like YouTube creators and that sort of thing. So we've done a lot of stuff there, and it's about getting the brand awareness out there. And yeah, look, that's what we're doing. So yeah, if anyone is building really cool data stuff, please do get in contact. We have some money set aside for that. We can help you build, and bear markets are the best time to build. So please do that.
Great. So how about your core team? How are they doing? And do you have any plans to hire more people? And let's talk about who gets hired at Step.
Yeah, for sure. So for those in our Discord as well, you would have seen, actually, he's right here in chat. Chris can give a wave, but we brought Chris on board, who's going to be heading up our growth at Step. So very excited about that. And that's essentially going to help us, again, manage all of these different things which are going on, whether it's translates, whether it's outreach to third parties, whether it's discussing how we are going to be talking about the new product going forward, how we're going to introduce that to new creators, or just basically anything on the marketing side, right? So Chris is going to be helping hands there, which is going to be great. But in general, also last quarter, Q2, we onboarded quite a few new engineers as well into Step, which has been really exciting. So look, the team is always hiring. We actually have job ads out as well now. I've found the Solana job board to be pretty good, although I think what happens with it is it gets like replicated onto a bunch of third-party websites, and I think they all suck, or like they don't, because I don't know, it seems like the best quality application. So please do check that one out. You can search for Step or a whole bunch of other projects. But yeah, so that's sort of one side. We've also brought on board another person to help with us, Gary, if Gary's in chat here, Gary Gainsler on Twitter. But Gary's also going to be helping us out on the digital marketing side, as well as the content creation side. So again, this sort of fits into what I was saying about translates, is there needs to be guides, there needs to be how-tos, there needs to be like introductory material for all of this different stuff which is going on in crypto and Solana. Who's going to make it, right? Like no one really is incentivized to make it. So we're like, well, okay, we'll make it. So, that's what we're going to do, and we're going to work with some of our partner projects as well, some of our friends. I see the Samo Famo in here. I'd love to do something there. But yeah, look, we're going to be creating more guides, more content, getting that out there, translating it into multiple languages. And yeah, that's just another sort of key focus for us in this Q3.
That's great. I actually had a community question about just that. They were asking about the educational programs for the newbies and how to know more about the project. So you answered that. Thank you for that.
I might just quickly add there as well, like also, as well as translations being important and language being important, it's also the form factor that people are viewing information about DeFi. So there's a lot of talk about mobile recently, right? And then we had the Solana phone recently, and then the XNFT backpack thing,
Yeah.
and whatever else, right? So it looks like there's going to be a focus in Solana land for mobile stuff. Now, what does that actually mean, and will people be using it? All we can say is that I think some products are more predisposed to others for mobile, mobile things. So Another thing that we did in the last quarter was we did a revamp of the entire Step UI. We called it Step V2, and that was a lot more mobile friendly as well. And at the moment, I think it's about like 19% of our users are viewing Step on mobile, and I think probably like for a data provider like us, I think it's better for people on mobile to be viewing those kind of products. Like we all kind of have these, like whether it's CoinGecko or like wallet things where people check prices, right? They mostly people wake up in the morning, they slide their phone open and they check if everything's nuked or mooned. So like I think people are familiar with the idea of mobile apps and checking data. I don't think the well, I don't know really, but this is my suspicion. I don't think the use case for people like doing hardcore trading stuff on mobiles is really there yet. I think most people would agree with that. You know, if you really want to do lots of trading stuff, you're probably going to use a desktop for that. There's just more tools and more screen space, and you don't have as many trade-offs. So anyway, for us, mobile is very important. That's another way that we're reaching out to people. We've done some changes recently in the last quarter, and that's going to keep flowing through. And one sort of big area for that is performance. So the Step team would not like it if I didn't mention that, but performance is another important thing, right? Like if you're viewing on mobile, you often have limited data, bandwidth, blah, blah, blah. It's a little bit spotty here and there. So there's a lot of stuff which we're working on behind the scenes to move a lot of the sort of heavy lift stuff that Step is doing in the back end, and make it quicker, essentially. So that will help mobile a lot, and that will be a good way for us to target a lot more mobile users. So look, that's what we're doing. I don't know if that means it'll be an app or anything like that. Like Step already works really well on mobile. You can just like
It does.
search your wallet and put it into into your browser. What more do you need? I don't know. Please do let us know if there is something lacking. But I think for us as a data product, yeah, it's probably good for us to be mobile optimized. But at like 17 to 19% users, like it's significant. But look, it's not our core base at the moment. So yeah, we just need to focus on improving performance. That'll help out mobile side. Translates will as well. So yeah, a bunch of stuff there.
Right. So there's so much going on. But out of all these, what excites you the most this quarter or even the rest of the year?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier the pace at which things were happening last year. All of these new integrations, every week there's something new happening, some new yield farm, some new pool. Oh, we've got to drop everything. We're going to integrate them real quick. Everyone's shouting about it. That's not going to be the case going forward for the next 6 months. And what will be the case, though, is that we want to be able to apply a lot of that speed and I guess attentiveness to rolling out new products that we had last year and channel that into all of our new data products. So I think that's what's the most exciting thing is we want to get on a release cadence where we're just smashing out new data products. And now that we have the infrastructure almost in place to do that, I think it's going to be really exciting over the next 6 months to really do that. So I mean, you can think of all of these different things which you see in your Step wallet right now, right? Like you load the dashboard, it shows you your APYs, what your yield tokens are worth, or claimable rewards, or NFT pricing, or whatever it might be, a whole bunch of different stuff. All of these different weird data points. And all you see right now on the Step dashboard and pretty much anywhere is like, you see that as of right now, as of the point in time right now. But if you wanted really interesting information, like, I don't know, how many people have a particular Sol USDC LP in Sabre, and what was the APYs for the last 6 months? Or what was the price of some NFT on February the 23rd at 4 a.m.? Or all of this kind of interesting pricing data is what we really want to roll out products to expose to the world. And that sort of starts with a lot of the stuff that we've already built for the dashboard, and really indexing that and doing that in a performant way that can make it fast and easy to use, and just a seamless sort of product experience. If we can do that, it's going to be super exciting. So that's what I'm most excited about over the next 6 months, is just smashing out a lot of these products. Hopefully we will see the fruits of our labor in the next couple of weeks, I dare say. And yeah, people will be able to see that, and there'll be some pretty cool announcements maybe soon as well. So yeah, look, we're just really excited about that, and we think that that is going to change the needle from Step just being like a place that you see information of, okay, this is what I've got right now, to this is the entire ecosystem and all of this like weird niche data that nobody thought that they needed, but then they're like, oh yeah, actually that is useful. And you know what? It's probably something that people will pay for, and that's good for the protocol, right? So it's going to be adding a lot of revenue potential for stakers and revenues and all this kind of stuff, well in excess of all of these other sort of DeFi things that we could tack on here and there. And I mentioned that before, just quickly for those who weren't on one of our previous calls, but the decision made a little bit earlier this year was, okay, the next path forward for Step over the next 6 months, it's either we integrate a lot more like little DeFi things on the dashboard of which can accrue value, and essentially people click on buttons to pay money. So that might be, oh, I click on, right now we have compounding yield farms. So I click on that button and Step gets some fees from that, right? Okay, simple, cool. That's a value accrual. That's a revenue for the protocol. That's pretty clear. We could go and add another 5 different things like that. But in a bear market, as you can see, everything like just disappears and users evaporate and all this kind of stuff. So that was a good decision to not focus on that. And actually, the more evergreen approach and the better thing for long-term protocol value creation is to focus on the data. And it's probably going to be along the lines of subscriptions and a subscription model. We see that with Dune, we see that with Glassnode, we see that with Nansen. Works very well there and makes sense. So I think Step's probably going to be a similar kind of thing. And that'll be obviously for some insights, but not others. Like, of course, you're always going to be able to connect your wallet to Step and see like what's your portfolio. But there might be other cool stuff which people want to pay for, and that's sort of what's going to fit into the subscription model. So again, this is when I'm talking about rolling out new products. It's all of these cool things that you can do with subscriptions.
That's great, and I can imagine how easy it's going to make it to file taxes in the United States.
Yes,
um,
Burgerland as well as whatever other country people are in. Our job is essentially to just provide the data, and then people can sort of make of that what they will.
that's right, and I think accountants would really enjoy this product more than the people who hire them.
Yeah,
Okay,
man, I don't want accountants to exist. Like, they should just be an on-chain program, really.
you're right.
So
You're
that,
right.
that's what we need to get to.
Yeah, and I can see that happening. Um, so this question, you get asked this question a lot. Let's answer this once and for all. Are you planning to integrate your project with other platforms such as AVAX, BSC, etc.?
Um, yeah, look, it comes up a lot. The answer is no, not right now. Like, probably in the long-term future, yeah, maybe. I don't know what will happen in the long-term future, but there's just so much for us. There's so much for us to build right now that we just don't have enough hands on deck to do that. And B, Solana, like, there's only a few major chains which matter at the moment, right? Like, there's only maybe about 3 which really matter in DeFi and NFTs. So yes, there's another 50 blockchains out there, but let's say you go and spend the next 6 months building for blockchain number 37. Who cares at the end of the day? Well, what are you going to do? Onboard another 10 users? Okay, no, that doesn't matter. Like, nobody wants to look at data from that. So it doesn't really make sense for us to focus on these kind of things. And look, if Solana is popping off, which it is, and it's one of the sort of few ecosystems that I think has quite a bit of critical mass as well. It really just means that we should just be focusing on building out what we've got on Solana and just be number one on what we've got on Solana. So yeah,
Mhm.
look, that's our focus. Not really looking at other stuff anytime soon. So yeah, just be really good at Solana stuff, and yeah, everything else, okay. Don't know what will happen in the future, maybe, but probably not. We'll see how we go.
Yeah. I think I have my last question from the community here. It goes, I've seen that your system also donates to charities. Will your donation campaigns continue?
Yes, we recently got in touch. I don't know if anyone remembers last year, but there's a charity that I think they do like a spinal research or something like that, based in Australia, and they've had a thing for like I don't know many years called September, and that's their sort of fundraising period. So we've been speaking with them, and we donated $10,000 last year towards that. So look, I think we can probably do something again this year. So I hope sort of everyone gets involved in that. We do have the charities, button on Step. You can see that right down the bottom on the left hand side. You can donate to a lot of different charities on chain, and yeah, you just send a USDC transaction, and boom, it's gone. And we've collaborated with some really cool partners to make that happen. So yeah, look, the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. The more people that we can integrate with there, the better. And yeah, I think we'll probably be doing another September thing in this September, which, what are we? Are we in July? July, August,
Yeah.
September. Okay, not too far. So, not too far. Yeah,
I've heard people not remembering the date, but month, that's first.
absolutely.
All right. So I guess we're wrapping up here. It was a great community call. Thanks, everyone, for joining. George, do you have any final thoughts for us or things to share before we wrap this up?
I think, look, we've approached a lot of the things there that's in our Q3 roadmap. The main kind of things, as we're saying, performance is ongoing, especially for mobile. Coverage, less of a focus. So that means like new integrations with other different protocols, showing their balances on Step and so on. There's a lot of bug fixes which have happened, but translations and referrals is another key thing. So referrals hopefully should be rolling out in the next couple of weeks on Step. So again, that'll be another cool thing that we'll be talking about very soon. You'll be able to refer people, earn some money for doing that, and that all happens on chain. And we've sort of taken a lot of effort to think about the different ways that that can work and not be spammed or anything like that. So that's very exciting. And yeah, look, the TLDR is we're hiring people. New people are moving into new roles. So we're continuing to build in this bear market, and we are super excited to be rolling out some of our really cool new products soon. So stay tuned there. But yeah, look, I think the best thing is check out the newsletter, Step Data Insights on Twitter. You can also check out Step Finance, of course, on Twitter. And yeah, just stay abreast of what's happening. Join our Discord. We always got good discussions going on there. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today, and we'll do some more of these very soon.